Today we're talking about DMX. Rest in peace to the living legend, one of the greatest gangster rappers, one of the realest, rawest dudes ever to record a rap album.
His childhood basically reads like an episode of Law & Order SVU. He was born to a Jehovah's Witness mother and a biological father who left when he was like 4 years old and never remained a part of his life. His mother was a Jehovah's Witness who was also very abusive towards him. He became disillusioned with that faith at a very young age over an incident where he was struck by a car, and the insurance agents told him that he was due a large settlement of about $10,000 or something. Meanwhile, they are extremely poor, living in great poverty, and his mother turned down the settlement due to their beliefs. Her turning down that settlement is not a very normal, staunch practice held by Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah. So even in that faith, that is seen as a little bit extreme. So honestly, he was just the victim of a very abusive mother in general.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger story there. But yeah, I think it sounds like she's using her faith as an excuse to, get away with this or that.
He was in and out of trouble in school as a youth, constantly getting into fights. He stabbed a kid with a pencil, got expelled in the 5th grade, was dropped into a boys' home for 18 months at that age, got arrested for the first time at 14, had been previously jailed for minor shoplifting things. We have a lot of artists out there that have a lot of lyrics that talk real stuff, like they come from these places and they don't. DMX is certainly genuine. That is one thing that we could always say about him, is every lyric that he ever put down came right from his heart. It wasn't, written by somebody else for sure.
Right. He's not giving you the Broadway play, dramatized version. He's giving you the real story, like stuff he's seen with his own 2 eyes, and he says as much in his
even
songs.
When it comes to adult crime, because as he became an adult, crime just seemed to continue. I mean, whether it was drug violations, gun violations, driving under the influence, driving on suspended, just a slew of things throughout the years. But he definitely is a poster child for how easy it is to get caught up in the system, in a system that really doesn't want to let you go once you're in it. And, in his later life, he was really making leaps and strides to try and break that cycle for himself.
Yeah, I think it's an inspirational story, and I think, we should all take a lesson from that. That
it's a story for sure.
If DMX can make it, like, how hard is your life, really? You know what I mean? I have some interesting information about how DMX got into the rap game here. And a lot of this is attributed to this guy, Reddy Ron. And he was discovered for his beatboxing ability, which, if you don't know, that's kind of just making drum sounds with your mouth. And funny enough, he got his name in a studio from this Oberheim DMX drum machine, one of these old vintage drum machines. And so he put out some mixtapes. He started building his local fan base. He's featured in magazine articles. He was getting offers from record labels, Columbia. He ended up on this label called Rough House. He had some successful singles. He collaborated with the likes of Jay-Z, Ja Rule, LL Cool J. And he finally put out his debut album, which is called It's Dark and Hell is Hot. I mean, it's literally called It's Dark. Like, his whole, shtick is dark, real, in your face. Like, the gruesome, shocking reality of the struggle on the streets. All along this way, you would think that he's insanely successful and insanely rich by this point. However, he ended up in $12 million of debt to Def Jam Records, and Jay-Z is the guy who actually bailed him out of that. Also, another aspect to throw in here is, even if you're very, very successful as an artist, if you don't have the other stuff worked out, the being able to stay clean, being able to stay on your business, on your grind.
And the classic, mo money, mo problems.
Exactly. feminists are trying to cancel DMX over his lyrics. And you all know how we feel about canceling people over lyrics, especially music artists on this channel. I just want to go out here and say hashtag free expression, especially for artists. Even if you abolish the First Amendment for everybody else in the country, I think it should be preserved specifically for musicians. That's my hot take on free expression. But so these activists are concerned that some lyrics from DMX may be considered homophobic and anti-woman. 2 out of his 9,000 songs, now he deserves to be flushed down the memory hole. Give me a break. So the hit song X is coming. It's a hardcore rap. It graphically details I can't say that word, but y'all can read it for yourselves. And yep, it's this thing. It's a rapper making sweet love to a girl that is
You're
of
not
a
going to be able
certain
to say
age.
any of this.
I can't say any of this.
You can't say anything that's coming out of your mouth right now.
I might not even be able to show it on the screen, but
yeah.
You know. Now I listened to the song. I don't really know for sure that he's like condoning this behavior. I think, in my opinion, it sounds like he's playing a character, and that he's sort of putting on this facade of like.
And there are plenty of other songs where that is the case, and in every single genre across the board. You know, there's a Warren Zevon song, "Excitable Boy." That's literally about basically the same act, but you're not canceling the entire Warren Zevon album from the 1970s because of that one song. That doesn't necessarily mean it's condoning behavior at all. If you listen to something like one of the most prolific songs, Immortal Technique's Dance with the Devil, that's a song 100% that if you didn't step back and realize that a character was being played, you would completely miss it.
No, but apparently he didn't say he was playing a character. He didn't give you a 500-word disclaimer and a bunch of caveats at the beginning of the song.
Well, no, he didn't.
Please don't take this seriously. I don't mean it, guys. Like, should artists really have to do that?
Well, no,
like,
he didn't.
No.
And if that's something that you have a problem with, then don't listen. Then don't listen. Absolutely.
Like, even if he is being serious and condoning it, like, his fans are adults. Like, they can handle that. Like, this is not going to corrupt anybody. This is not going to, like, turn anybody of his fans into rapists. It's ridiculous. I can't say that word. I said it. I can't say it. But it's ridiculous. Artists should be afforded that freedom to cover these issues, cover these topics, however they want, whether it's a character, whether it's not. And
y'all let the Insane Clown Posse do it.
Exactly. And you know what? If you don't like it, like Connor said, don't listen. That used to be how this worked. But now it's 2021, and we're so much wiser and better. And so now we have different rules. None of the rules make sense. There are no rules. And here's the deal, guys. Here's the big point about this. Don't cancel musicians, artists, rappers over this. Here's why. We may never have another DMX for the rest of time, because if rappers are so scared to cover certain subject matter, we don't get real rappers anymore. We don't get the rawness. We don't get the truth. We don't get the real struggle that these guys have gone through.
Whether he was right or wrong, he was covering his feelings.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to do that anymore. You're not allowed to be politically incorrect and be unapologetic. You're not allowed to be honest these days. I, for one, applaud DMX for being himself and wearing his heart on the sleeve and just going out there and saying it and not caring. And guess what? You could cancel DMX if you want, but his crew is going to find you. So I found a story here that gives us a little mystery surrounding the death of DMX. MTO News spoke with a member of the Simmons family who believes that it was not drugs that caused his heart attack. So the family member suspects it was a reaction to the vaccine that killed DMX and caused his heart attack.
Of course, this was also very early on in the story. The family member themselves is not identified.
They're trying to maintain this image of DMX as a recovered addict. Like, he had struggles in the past, but he's fine now. He's on the up and up.
And they may not have been aware. If he had recently relapsed or something like that, there are plenty of times where you don't find out until it's too late. Unfortunately, that is the case many times.
Right. It doesn't matter whether the vaccine caused his heart attack or not. I mean, at the end of the day, this is one guy, right? Even if this vaccine did cause his death. It is in no way like disproving the efficacy of all vaccines, anything like that. We don't want to get into like that level of conspiracy here. Now, if like 50% of the people who took the vaccine start dropping dead in 6 months, then that might. But as of now, even worst case scenario, I don't think this is like huge evidence against the vaccine. But I also think there's more evidence pointing that it's not the vaccine, whether he took it or not. First of all, if you look at some of his last videos that he released before he passed away, I mean, DMX is a very religious guy, right?
Yes.
He's very in favor of prayer. I mean, he's literally did like a 20-minute stream just reading Bible verses, talking about how powerful prayer is and how you can save yourself and cure yourself and fix your own problems with prayer. So I kind of feel like based on that, he might be more likely to lean towards praying rather than science. And it's just a hunch.
So as of right now, this particular article seems like it's more vaccine rabble-rousing than it is actually any sort of evidence-based account.
Yeah, I mean, I would be more likely to believe it if the family member went public and actually
identified themselves or said a little bit more.
But we can't even verify that this guy is related to DMX, so it kind of, puts another doubt there. So there's a lot of reasons to doubt this story, not a whole lot of reasons to believe it. As interesting as that would be, we can't spread fake news here. We can't be responsible.
Absolutely not.
And we would also be taken down and banned off the platform. So we want to know what you guys think. In the comment section down below, let me know what you guys think. Is the vaccine, is it the root cause of all of his health problems, or was he just a crummy drug dealing, drug using
that sounds so bad
rapper? Like that's not my opinion, but maybe somebody else out there thinks
this is true.
But they're allowed to think that, right? Free expression. Y'all can think whatever you want. We're not telling you what to think. We're just telling you what we think. So leave a comment, let us know your thoughts. Also, make sure to hit that like button if you're feeling our threads, and subscribe to the channel if you never want to miss a new episode of the OC Podcast, the #1 largest Bible-based music business podcast. Last but not least, make sure to share the video. Share it with all the gangster rappers Share it with all the vaccine fanboys Share it with all the feminists trying to cancel DMX. Just share this video with everybody regardless of their race, age, or gender. And that about does it for us tonight. This has been the OC Podcast.
And we are signing out.